What is up, everyone? What is up? It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Yay, yay. What's everyone up to? I think I fixed a bug I was having with my Nvidia GPU. It took a little bit of finagling, but I found out the reason for yesterday's stream quality issue with the on-screen. It was kind of an interesting issue I ran into. So I thought at first it was the cable connecting the devices wasn't HDMI 2.1 or 2.0 to have enough bandwidth, but it turns out that wasn't the case. So the new Elgato Pro 4K Pro card that I added in there to fix the audio issues have been working great. But what I had to do was I did some troubleshooting. At first I was like, is there something wrong with the capture card? It turns out the Nvidia GPU, when using X11, had a weird bug I had to make a workaround for. So basically what happens is it was sending out 1440p to this computer, which I wanted, but it was doing it at 10-bit color instead of 8-bit color, which would then overload the bandwidth limitations because it was using, what was it called? FRL, FRS, I think it was. No, it was using like FRL or whatever, and now it's on TMDS, so I had to force that. Drop it down to 8-bit color, force that in the Sorg.conf, and then set that to 120 hertz, because it worked at 100 hertz, but by default it would pick up at 240 hertz, but then the capture card would downgrade the quality instead of 1440p to 720p. So it would basically cut that bish like more than in half. So I did some trickery, figured out it was 100 hertz, it would work bare minimum, but the reason why I still needed to do some finagling was, if you're not streaming or doing content creation, this doesn't matter much, but it's good to know. So I had it working at 100 hertz, but I do streams at 60 frames per second or content at 30 frames per second. So the issue is that 30 and 60, of course, does not divide in cleanly to 100. You would get a floating point number instead of a whole integer. So occasionally how OBS and such would compensate for that is occasionally you drop a frame. Now, if I were just talking like this, no problem. But when we do the gaming on Linux and we get into fast-paced games, it would actually, you would notice little issues here and there. It'd be subtle, but it'd be perceptible. So I did a little bit of finagling before I started the stream to get it going to 120 hertz at least at 1440p. That way it works cleanly into 30 and 60 frames per second. Because for some reason the Elgato card was requiring a minimum of 100 hertz when going over the EDID to the GPU. So 100 hertz was the minimum, so it wasn't like I could drop it down to 60. It was I had to bump it up to 120 or 180 or 240, something that would actually fit into that. But yeah, we got that resolved. I'm also a little late to stream because I was hanging out on a chat, a business call, with one of my best friends who's a pen tester, and he's working alongside my mentor, and she and I, of course, were just, you know, schmoozing and catching up on everything. Parrot and her are planning to go out to DEF CON, so I'm probably going to be hanging out with them IRL when we're at DEF CON, getting them just some of the info and stuff, because they're trying to market some stuff out there and see how we can work together. So yeah, it was, you know, I ran a little bit late. The call was supposed to end at 7:30, but, you know, yeah. You go peg him? No. Is the cybersecurity job market cooked? No. Entry level as a whole might be, but no. Hey bro, how do I find hidden malware? Have you tried playing hide and go seek? Now, if you find to find hidden malware, you use a malware scanner. Bitdefender in the consumer side is the one that I generally recommend the most to consumers. It works pretty well. I think they have a free version that might work for that. Of course, some people will recommend Malwarebytes. It's not too bad, don't get me wrong. I still just lean more towards Bitdefender. Just don't have both on a system, because that could potentially cause issues. I'm sad your AI didn't talk well. It was your description. What did my AI do this time? Oh, it did some nice stuff. I mean, it did alright. What do you do in your current role? I yell at developers and tell them to code better, while I stand over them like a taskmaster. No, I'm kidding. I'm a senior cybersecurity engineer. In my current role, I'm kind of the CrowdStrike SME as well. That's subject matter expert, if you're not familiar with that. As well as, I work on the CI/CD side of things. In my past role, I was managing Zscaler, Tenable, CrowdStrike, and Proofpoint, as well as helping the infrastructure as code and AWS side of things. I was overworked at my last job. Chief, stop lying. I know you'd pull someone away from the computer and do it yourself. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish after you beat him over the head and tell him to code more securely... Do you have a file naming convention? Do they have spaces? I use underscores. I name it descriptive shit _1. I don't know. I just kind of name it whatever makes sense. It depends on the name. It depends on the things I'm trying to do.
Taco Bell's Ishi is now chilling in the lab.
Wow, the TTS messed that up. Thank you for the follow. Taco Bell says hi. I wish you were really Taco Bell, because then I could get maybe a lifetime supply of Tex-Mex burritos. Let me see. Did you play the new Mike Hawk game? Or do you mean Me Hawk? Was there I don't know. I haven't played that one. Hi, Chief. It's me again. I was in the majority of your vids, but I wanted to ask, in your opinion, what version of Linux should I install? Mint, Arch, or other? Well, generally avoid Arch, unless you have some specific reasons you hate grass and don't feel like ever showering again. I'm always going to rag on the Arch users. It's okay, they understand there's a joke. It's a whole meme thing. Anyway, I would say, I'm not going to tell you to, like, install this specific Linux. I'll tell you the ones that I've used, and you just need to figure out what you like the best. I personally use Pop! OS daily. I've also in the past used Ubuntu. There's also forks of it like Kubuntu, which uses KDE, Lubuntu, which uses LXDE, there's Subuntu, which uses XFCE, there's Mint, there's straight Debian. Some people are out there that are probably going to say like CatchyOS, Bazite, Fedora. I'd say go play and see which flow you actually likes the most. Still, unfortunately, using a GTX Titan. Hey, if it works, it works. Do you recommend any cybersecurity podcasts? The one that really sticks out for me is Darknet Diaries. I don't listen to too many, not because, you know, it's just I don't have too much time. Thank you for the follow, Panakaros. Hi, Panakaros. Thank you for the follow over on that plan. God, there's so much crap happening. Do you reckon... Oh, yeah, I already answered that. I've already answered that. Please help how to enter an IT. I'm a mechanical engineer. Generally, to enter IT, there's many different ways you can do it. So, like, the thing is, like, when people are like, I want to enter IT or cybersecurity, the first thing you need to figure out is, ideally, where specifically do you want to be in those fields? Because IT isn't just IT, and cybersecurity isn't just cybersecurity. Like, even in cybersecurity, just to name off, yes, there's cybersecurity engineers, but are we talking identity and access management? Are we security operations, like the SOC? Are we talking about observability? We talking about networking, which can straddle IT and cyber depending on the company that you're at? Are we talking about GRC, governance, risk, and compliance? There's BCPDR, business continuity, business continuity procedure, and DR, which is disaster recovery. That's into the cyber. And then on the IT side, you've got Linux administration, Windows administration, endpoint configuration. Your regular help desk is generally an entryway for a lot of people. There's, of course, in many of these fields, junior roles for a lot of them. So it's more figure out which niche you want to get into. And if you're trying to get into IT, but you're already a mechanical engineer, I mean, depending on how much you're making, it could be potentially a step down to start as help desk for a while, depending on how you want to go. I don't know the specifics of your background. I would then, just do research on what parts generally interest you. If you don't know where you want to go, you may want to look into it, maybe see if you can just, look up some job posts, see if that kind of, tickles your fancy. Is it worth it to enter IT? Oh, is it worth it? Knowing if a job is worth it for you is a personal judgment call. Like, people could ask you, is it worth being a lawyer? Is it worth being a doctor, a mechanic, or things like that? It depends on the type of person you are and the things that interest you. Like, for me, it would not be worth it to become a doctor. But it is worth it for me to be in tech. I just don't like squishy stuff. Body stuff, but yeah. Is getting an internship hard in cybersecurity? Getting one versus finding one, you first have to find it, and then getting internships depends on meeting the criteria, so it depends on the companies. I personally have never gone through cybersecurity internships, so I can't speak for it. I've been at companies that had internships and mentored some people, so it depends on the programs that they have, the qualifications, things like that. How to hack. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the kitchen. Preferably, you're going to want a cutting board. Pick out your item, get a cleaver, and start hacking. Clam AV still good? It's all right. I mean, there's better out there, but it's better than nothing if you're, doing some basic file search. Fresh grad here, is it recommended we'll jump straight to DevOps? I don't know about recommendable, but if you have a good basic understanding of things, you can probably start more at the junior level doing some of that stuff. I came more into the DevSecOps immediately from my new position doing CI/CD and all that, but a lot of that came from I've never been formally trained in any of that stuff, so I just built a bunch of CI/CD stuff in my GitHub, and when I applied for the job, they looked at it and they said, "Oh, you're really great with this stuff." Okay. And then when I started, they're like, "We want you involved in the CI/CD stuff. You're working with this one guy that's underneath you." Should I delete sys32 to fix my GPU? You can delete sys32 all you want. Will it fix your GPU? Probably not, but you can go ahead and try. Let me know how it goes. Hi, Uncle, where did you learn IT? I learned a little bit of it from my dad back in the day. I'm second generation geek, but as I've said before, not in the, did you know my dad worked at Blizzard and I worked at Blizzard for 7 years? There was none of that. My dad had a managed service provider company, so the most I had is like introduction to hardware. I had my own computer when the Windows 95 and 98 days. My dad wired up the whole house with 10100 Ethernet using Cat5. We had a Leviton panel with a Linksys WRT54G, along with a Netgear switch to patch that out to the house. My dad and I built a Beowulf cluster. If you don't know what that is, that's a very early on clustered server before we really had multi-CPU machines that are very commonplace now. So I learned quite a bit of that from my dad, at least the base concepts, but a lot of the IT and cyber that I do today is self-taught, at least for the past, like, 2 decades, because my dad got out of that business and switched into research in other fields. He kind of left it because there used to be a lot of money in PC building and things like that. Like my dad would tell me back in the day, he would get orders for, like, he'd be in Ohio, they'd be in New York, they'd need him to build a computer, they would pay him several $1,000s to build a computer, fly him out for 2 or 3 days, he'd get a ticket for himself and the computer so he didn't have to check it, configure the computer over 2 to 3 days because there was a lot more involved back then, fly back and make several thousand in profit. Nowadays you don't make that kind of money from a computer. You're lucky if you can get 10%. How do I start in this industry? Figure out where you want to go, look at job postings for what they want, and start grinding. It's the simplest way I can say. I'm thinking of installing Gen 2 Linux on my dad's old Mac. I can see nothing that could go wrong since it's a beginner distro. That's not what I ever said. If you're looking at the YouTube video, you should probably click that button that says related video and understand the context there was explaining the different distro families to beginners. Nobody ever wants to look at that related video button on YouTube, do they? My PC only maxes out at just under 60C, I think. That's not too bad. Your GTX Titan runs at 34C. That's not too bad. CentOS is bye-bye now. Greetings from Greece. What's up, buddy? How does someone break into this space? Generally, we use lockpicks because we don't like to kick doors open in cybersecurity. Chat's going by fast. Sorry, I'm not answering everybody's questions. At the Titan, my old roommate stole my 1080 Ti. If I had it, it'd still be framed. That was a good GPU. Where does the person stop and the horse at the center? Windows or Linux on home PC? That's a personal call, but more and more, I think Linux is great for a lot of the everyday tasks that people are doing. I think networking would be the best balance between quality of life and job output. If you don't like being on call all the time, networking teams tend to be on call. Most of the people I know that did networking are not happy with their on-call schedules. I used to do networking. Do you think I should get a Network Plus for an entry-level role? Okay, so when I went into my entry-level roles, I didn't have any certs. I started with the CISSP. I'll put it this way. It won't hurt. Now, it's more of a... It will definitely won't hurt. It can help you, but it's not necessarily a necessity. Certs just basically say that you've passed the test. Does the open source 3D printer have those tracking dots? I'm pretty sure it won't, and those mostly are on laser printers. How much would they have to pay you to do GRC? For me, probably 200, at least. 250 would definitely get me moving there. Double my pay. A little less than double, but yeah. As a junior observability engineer, where is the field heading? That's a good question. Definitely more leaning into sims so we can do better SOAR actions. But observability is more about the dashboards. Grafana is a really valued tool that people should use. Probably been asked a lot, what jobs are AI proof? I mean, we're not really going to know the full fallout, but look, IT and cyber, are pretty much safe from a lot of that. It will alter, maybe augment the jobs, but it won't replace a lot of people. A lot of the people that are like, well, AI is the reason why this company laid off these many people, but don't read past the headline. Because the reality is, like, you look at Oracle and Amazon, it was more due to their spending that they had to reorg than AI itself. You get what I'm saying? They're overextending themselves. So they've spent so much on CapEx, they have to cut their OpEx. Capital expenditure versus operational expenditure. Help desk for show, pay cut for mechanical engineering, yeah. Would I be able to look at your resume? I mean, it's not that I'm saying no, it's that I honestly don't know if I have the time to properly look at it. You can definitely join the Discord and the Matrix server. Hit me up. See if I have time, or at least ask general questions. Don't put your PII out there, of course. But it's a good community. People will be more than willing to give you ideas, tips, and tricks. The links are in the bio if you do want to join the Discord or Matrix servers, as well as all my other socials. YouTube, Twitch, Kick, TikTok, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Instagram, all those. Have you ever tried OpenBSD? Yeah, I have. I prefer more FreeBSD because it's a little bit more popular, but pfSense uses FreeBSD. Also, if I was a real Taco Bell, I would give you the lifetime supply. Unfortunately, I'm not. Oh, well. What do you need to do to enter this field without a degree? Put a lot of hard work down to the grindstone, home lab a lot, tinker, educate yourself on a lot of things. It ain't easy. And these days, with application tracking systems, it's getting harder and harder. Because they're looking for you to check these boxes. But it's doable. I've done it. I'm only going for my 4-year degree now, after being in the field for 15 years. And that's merely just to check the box. Can you help me fix my Star City game? I haven't played that in a while. I want to get into tech, but I might go to community college. God damn it, that chat just scrolled right on by. Hold on. Where you mess with Tines at all? I have in the past. That was actually one of the platforms I recommended. I like Torque a little bit better, but both are kind of expensive for a lot of companies to swallow the price on. What should I think? I think I saw you in Black Hat. No, I haven't been to Black Hat. Hold on. I want to get in tech, and I might go to community college for AI, applied for cloud computing or cybersecurity. I have no coding background. What should... Okay, kind of cut off there. I guess you're asking what should you do? If you don't have a coding background, it's fine. You can learn a lot of stuff. I didn't have a coding background until like 3-4 years ago. Then I gave myself projects and just started building different things in Python. I did a little bit of Bash and PowerShell over the years, but Python is mostly what I use for a lot of things. Just give yourself projects.
Is now chilling in the lab.
Thank you for the follow over there. As a full-time SAHD and going part-time for school for CIS, how do I do this? Work-life balance. There's, you got so much time in the day. Figure out how much time you can devote to it. It's kind of tough when you're in school. Oh, yeah, stay-at-home dad. Oh, I think that's what it is. And going part-time to school for CS. Yeah, it is tough, especially with kids. It can be done. It's just mostly about that balance. Can you help me fix Stargate in a game? I haven't played that in a while. Use YubiKeys? Yeah, I'm actually a Yubico ambassador. There's links in my bio if anyone wants to buy them and help support the channel. But, I think this will make it easier to... Wait, no, not that one. You want YubiKeys? This isn't even all of them. I got more over here. See? Those even aren't all of them. I have a couple more in the keyboards, and then I have another on the keychain. So yeah. Is computer science still worth it? Yeah. Fresh grad, military background, what would you recommend? Cracking open a beer, relaxing, and then... sorry. What I would recommend is... it depends on what you were doing in the military, if you're doing any tech or not. Otherwise, like, if you're trying to go into IT or cyber, it's just a matter of figuring out what your passion is and going into it. And then I always recommend tinkering and home labbing. Wiped my laptop using Linux, lost my Windows, USB, gotta re-download for school. Oof. Although, you could put Windows in a virtual machine if you need that just for school, unless they have some, like, kernel level thing they need you to do. Should I get CompTIA A+, Security Plus, and then experience an IT help desk to get cybersecurity job? Should you? That's more up to you. Look, I didn't get my A+ or Security Plus until after I got my CISSP because I'm working on my WGU bachelor's degree. So... do you need it? Not necessarily. Does it help? Maybe. It's sysadmin with a routing and switch cert. Should I get AZ-104 and pivot to IAM? Whether you want to pivot to IAM, that's more of a personal call. I know IAM. Do I want to stay in IAM? Not so much. I can help out. I can understand that stuff. If that interests you, make a pivot to it. If it doesn't, then so be it. I am a NetSec major. What are the 3 most beneficial skills in IT? Location. No, I'm kidding. The 3 most beneficial skills in IT, definitely one is soft skills, knowing how to talk to users and your colleagues and stuff, being able to collaborate with different people. In terms of, skills in general, documentation, huge skill, very underrated. You would not believe the amount of times I've run into issues and it came down to they didn't document things well enough. So definitely useful on that part. So we've got soft skills, we've got that, and then as far as I guess the other thing, without going into vendor specific things, I would definitely say being able to adapt and pivot as needed. Don't get too rigid in that you can only work on like these systems or that system or this. Be open to adapt and change as you need, because this field will always adapt and change.
Time Traveler 9791 is
unless
now
your dad's
in the
preferred
lab.
distro, he basically lives on his Android phone these days. What was hacking like in the 90s? It was more phone freaking than everything. Hacking, as a lot of people know, didn't really become popular until much later. There was when was the Cult of the Dead Cow active? Hold on. Cult of the Dead Cow. They're kind of the more famous group that kind of released it. So they started in the 80s, but they were doing things more for fun. Like, there used to be, like, a whole art to, like, crash screens and all that. Like, it was interesting. It was a totally different vibe than what it is now. I mean, because you have to remember, most of the 90s, we didn't even have wireless internet for most of it. So it was literally over dial-up modems, but phone freaking was more of the popular thing. If you don't know what that is, it's you would use a whistle around 2600 hertz. It's a Captain Crunch whistle people found out gave the perfect tone, and you'd whistle a bunch of tones in a specific order, and you could have the phone system do whatever you needed. It's how my dad actually called them internationally. Which study resources did you use for the CISSP? I used the official textbook, the practice test book that they had, and I used the Learn the Z is in Zulu app on my phone, and I did about 50 to 100 questions per day till I was, getting about 85-90% preparedness. I also used a class for my local ISSA chapter that was only like $500. It was about 3 hours once a week on Tuesday nights for about 2.5-3 months. Helps prepare me for a lot of different things. Linux is way more in demand, though. It definitely is these days in the job market, for sure. I'm 42 and thinking about transitioning in tech, more of the networking side. Is it worth it? That's more of a personal call for you. It definitely can be worth it. Networking is, of course, a field that's in demand. It, of course, has its ebbs and flows and everything, but I think it's worth it. I mean, you might get pushback because, you may tell yourself, you're 42, it's late in life. But hey, I've known people that started their careers in their 40s, too, in this field. Have you done any SAN certs? I have not. Primarily because my work won't pay for it. But if your work is willing to pay for it, as you're saying, go for it. If work's willing to pay for a cert, take advantage of it. I have a 5070 Ti and 3700X. Good combo. I mean, it should do all right. I mean, I'm running a 5950X and a 5070 Ti. Would you want to get a better CPU? Probably, but in this Ramageddon, it's kind of harder to get memory that'll, justify getting the new CPU that would actually give you that oomph. I'm in that same boat. What do you do the most at work? What class would help? What do I do the most at work? Wait for other teams to do their damn job so I can do mine. What class would help? I don't know what specific class would help for a lot of the stuff that I do because I'm kind of all over the place. I guess the best advice I would give is be open to a lot of different opportunities and ideas. I forced my NVMe to be running Gen 4 now. It was running at only sub 400 megabytes a second. That'll do it. Chief Stack uses Hannah Montana Linux. Oh, and I didn't welcome Time Traveler 9791 over into the Twitch. Thank you. Transitioning in tech is definitely more common nowadays. Getting access to HRT is the hardest part depending on the state you're in. Oh, hormone replacement therapy. Okay, yeah, I got a buddy that's going through that. That's a pen tester. It's a bitch from what they've gone through. Yeah. I have to jump through because there's like so many chats and stuff. Company uses a lot of Splunk, but should I focus on Splunk certs or work on CISSP? Two different sides of the question here. It's not one of those like either or. You can get both. Splunk certs, however, are more specific to Splunk, of course. So if you're planning to be using that throughout your career, and newsflash, Splunk isn't the only platform out there. I think Cisco is actually who acquired Splunk.
Brook Pilot 3 is now chilling in the lab.
Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you, Broke Pilot. CISSP is more agnostic, but sought after for senior roles. So if you have at least the 5 years of experience, 4 years if you have a 4-year degree, it's not a bad idea to pursue it. More jobs, from what I've seen, look for a CISP cert than a Splunk cert. Will it hurt you to get a Splunk cert? Absolutely not. But the priority, I mean, like, both of them require a different amount of time investment. The CISSP will maybe take you a couple of months to actually, study on that. That's a bit of a mind F. Hey, Chief, what if you can no longer store TOTP seeds in the YubiKey? Do you just buy another one? So my YubiKey can support up to 64. I haven't reached that limit, but what I do is I use KeyPass XC stored in a Veracrypt container that's triple encrypted, and I store my MFAs all in there for the lesser used accounts. So I only use my YubiKey for the TOTP accounts that I regularly use. Otherwise, it's FIDO WebAuthn. Like, there are some finance accounts that I rarely go into, like my 401k account, for example. So I don't have that TOTP code generating on the YubiKey. I have that on a KeyPass XC that I would then access and generate the code off of that after I decrypt the container and log into the password database. Which certs did I get for cloud infrastructure as a junior in college? I don't really have any cloud certs. I mean, I'm trying to pursue the CCSP eventually, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt to get AWS certs. But the thing about cloud, you have to understand before I finish that thought, is there are different cloud platforms. So, like, if you get an AWS cert, you're going to be specifically learning more about the AWS environment. If you get Azure certs, you're in the Azure environment. If you get Google certs, you're in the GCP environment. So it's really hard to say what path necessarily to go fully down in cloud until you know what cloud infrastructure you're probably going to be around more of. What I would probably focus on is the general knowledge of the systems you're going to be using. Infrastructure as code, like Terraform, or, you know, learning to use Puppet, Ansible, things like that for all that, you know, Kubernetes. Learn about the general knowledge there. Maybe play with each of the cloud platforms to have some familiarity with them. I can't remember off the top of my head what are the vendor agnostic cloud certs, though. Like, don't get me wrong, certs are fine and dandy, but I think too many people go around worshiping certs, because there is a problem where if you have too many certs but not enough experience, that can look bad on a resume. It's a weird counterintuitive thing, but that's the case. I would just focus on the general knowledge that you can have on that and seeing what environment you'd want to go down before going and say, I want AWS, I want Azure, I want GCP certs. You could maybe do like the basic, I forget what the AWS one. I think AWS, Azure, and GCP at least have intro level certs. You could maybe knock out each one of those, which are very rudimentary, just this is how the platform works, this is the basics, all of that, doesn't get too deep into it. And then as you grow in your career, build up. Any tips before I go to school for IT, CompTIA, Tech Plus? Not familiar with what CompTIA, you mean the A Plus? Or not familiar with that specific cert. There's so many certs out there. I can save money, no, I'm there, won't eat. Getting money in the daytime, even count it when I sleep. Wake up to getting bread, bitch, I do this for the streets. ADHD.
Dark just subscribed.
Wow, the TTS really messed up your name. Thank you for that Prime sub over there, Dark TV. I appreciate you. We come with the receipts around here. Thank you. I love that receipt printer. Alright, I have to jump around for some of these questions. I'm not trying to ignore people. There's just so many people in chat, and I'm trying to catch up. Do you find file management to be therapeutic? No. I'm not a type A personality. I do try to organize my things in the first place, but then I just use file search to find the things I need. I worry if I bring this up to my boss, it would make 3 jobs redundant and I'd get the full workload. Just got promoted to office work for my factory job. After a week, I automated 80% of my workload. How would you morally approach this? Just be quiet and enjoy the extra time? Document all the stuff that you did to automate it. Don't let people know necessarily that you did it, because like you said, they will throw more work at you. I know that from experience. You can let people know that you've done little things here and there, just don't give away, what's the saying? Just don't give the whole house away, basically. Give them enough to let them know that you're doing your job, you've optimized things and all of that stuff. But, yeah, it's a tough call, especially when other people's jobs may be on the line and it may end up also at the same time ending up giving you more work. Be a team player. I also wouldn't share with too many people that you've done this. What I would also do is the things that you've done to automate things, document it. If possible, in situations like that, just enough documentation that if you're gone, people understand what's happening. I mean, like you win the lottery or something. But I would ideally keep a lot of the documentation to the specific things for yourself in your own area. Problem is, I know people might say that's kind of a dick, but the problem is, companies expect you to have loyalty to them, but when the tables are turned, they don't have loyalty to you. So, make sure you document your things, so if God forbid you do have to leave for any reason, or you get laid off, whatever, you'll at least have that stuff to be documented that you can tell that you did at your next job. But yeah, I would be very careful about bringing that up, because it's one of those I also don't know how your boss is. Which search should I get for... Oh, you already answered that, Dark. Tell the person that's doing HRT I'm rooting for them. I think we're all rooting for them.
Is now chilling in the lab.
What are your thoughts on the T450 ThinkPad i5 16 gigabytes RAM? Seems okay for a bit. Do you think I'll be able to hack in 2 days? You can do that in 30 seconds if you go to kitchen, get a cutting board, and get a knife. Look, if you're gonna come and ask me, how quick can you hack? Those are the jokes you're gonna get around here. Is it worth mining in Monero, Chief, like on your spare PC? Not necessarily. It is usually going to cost you more, because here's the thing, Monero is more of a CPU-dependent system, or cryptocurrency. So, like, you could do it on your GPU, but it likes CPU and memory more. It's just the way it was designed. What I've done in the past is when I needed heat in the basement before I got things improved and all that, my computers were always on before I got, regularly shutting them down when I wasn't using them. I set that, the Linux box and the Windows box to know whenever it's idle to start mining Monero, and whenever I'd wake the computer up, it would stop mining. You'd barely make any money. It was mostly there as the knowledge was, I'm gonna be burning power anyway. Why buy a heater to spend more money when I could spend money and at least get some of the cost offset? When I needed heat. Look. You can only light a fart so many times till you run out of gas, okay? Best distro servers in White Debian. I mean, I use Ubuntu, so it's not that far off, and Red Hat at work. I'm working in the CMMC space as an M365 admin. Should I stay within the CMMC realm or pivot away? Do you like the job? That's the big question I would ask you. If you like it, stay. If you have something else interests you, pivot. Bro, I want to be a red teamer. Do you have any advice for me? Get a bucket of paint, paint yourself, go join the red team. I'm kidding. Generally, when it comes to a lot of the red team stuff from the people that I know like a lot of people are like, I want to go straight into red teaming. Here's a little bit of an unfortunate truth for a lot of people. Not saying you can't do it. I'm saying red team tends to be one of those jobs that there isn't that many openings available. And they're looking for people that have a bit more experience, usually in blue team first. So it's one of those, you build yourself up into that position, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's improbable. If you already have some, experience there, from what some of my friends have told me, some of them don't have the OSCP, but the OSCP doesn't hurt to help showcase that you can at least do some of the basic stuff. There is, like, Try Hack Me, that can help, teach you some CTF stuff, things like that. I use Parrot OS, not Kali, but yeah, I mean, it's more about learning a lot of the fundamentals and everything, but I would recommend having a little bit of blue teaming experience before you go really down that path, because if you understand how to defend systems, then you can understand how to better attack systems. Does the private sector have a lot of cybersecurity layoffs? I'm terrified losing my gov clearance. I mean, layoffs happen in general in all fields, not just cybersecurity. And it's not so much like, oh, you're in cybersecurity, you're getting laid off. It really depends on the different company. More layoffs tend to happen at the massive, large corporations. Your Microsofts, your Amazons, your Googles, your Oracles, your Netflixes, these massive, companies. When you're working in more of the SME space, small to medium enterprise or mid-sized businesses, it's a little bit more stable. So, keep that in mind. AS in computer technology, BS in information systems management, 3 certs including Network Plus. Can't find any work. Well, what are you trying to look for? And, I mean, because you're saying you have the associates and the bachelors and certs. What experience do you honestly have? What can you do to showcase your experience? Because here's the thing, and this is why I tell people this all the time, and some people don't like to hear this. I'm not by any means demeaning that you got the certs or the degree. But experience is always going to matter more. Coming from a person that doesn't have a 4-year degree and is working on their 4-year degree now after 15 years of experience. I didn't even have certs until 2 years ago when I was when I got my CISSP. Hey, Puffers. How you doing, Popper? Hey, Rocky. Hey there, poor boy. Hey there, poor boy. About to take my Sec Plus. Any tips before I take it tomorrow? I just get confused on business ops and networks. So, I took the Security Plus. The reality is, when it comes to a lot of that, they design things to confuse the crap out of you. Now, I'm working on a YouTube video I gotta still edit, talking about my, thoughts on the Security Plus when I took it 2 months ago. I wrote the script down, like, the week that I took it. I have the one already on the Comp PIAA Plus, there'll be one on the Network Plus, there'll be one on the Security Plus, and I think I have one for ITIL, and then eventually I'll have one on Project Plus, Data Plus, Pentest Plus, and CISA Plus, because I have to take all those certs. And then once I finish WGU as a whole, I'll have that out. But I just do some of the practice tests, make sure you understand how they do it. It's the performance-based questions tend to trip me up more, because they want you to do things in a certain way. And here's the thing that annoys me about some of the Comp TIA stuff. The way they describe things, or they explain things, is not always what's going to be out in the field. I have some gripes with the way they've done their testing. There are vendor-agnostic cloud certs? Yeah, there are. Like, there's the CCSP and things like that. I mean, some Linux certs are out there, too. Like, the Linux Foundation, I think, has, like, Kubernetes and other certs, too. Document what you automate for when it breaks, you know how to fix it. Yep, exactly. That's why I say to document things. 1.5 years ago, I began certs AT 50, now 52. Mostly do IT PC repair, technical solutions specialist. Nice. How important is Sec Plus cert? It depends on the job. Some will specifically call for it. Some may not. I didn't get my Security Plus until... it's April. 2 months ago. So I got my Security Plus after my CISSP. So I've done my entire career, made it to Senior Cybersecurity Engineer without a Security Plus, a Network Plus, or an A Plus. I made it to just being a security engineer without CISSP, got my CISSP at my last job, and that's the only cert I had going into this job, and I accepted the job before I took those other 3 certs I mentioned. But I also have, like, a portfolio of a lot of different work, on GitHub and different things, so, like, my last job hired me, because when they looked at my GitHub at the time, I had a Twitch automation that was using Python with APIs, and they were looking for a person to do automation. And I had literally just taught myself how to do Python and API calls and all that, only like 4 or 5 months before I got that job. So, yeah. A lot of people were emphasized too much on getting the cert, getting the degree, but never actually doing anything that you can lab and show. Like, I put my GitHub on my resumes. They can go through and see, like, a couple dozen projects there. Pardon me, I forgot I had my tacos here and I haven't had dinner yet. If you're wondering, barbacoa and steak. With, Cosmic Peach Habanero hot sauce. Let me get that in for you. There you go. That's one of my favorite pepper hot sauce companies. They're out in Colorado. If you were to 1v1 Mr. Robot and a hack off, who wins? Well, I mean, it's a fantasy character, but when you're saying 1v1, are you talking like we're both hacking something, or are you talking about I'm defending and then he's hacking? It's kind of hard to say, because you do have to remember, as much as, you know, he talks about things and a lot of the concepts he does talk about are legitimate concepts, it is Hollywoodified. Like, yes, a lot of the tools he's showing, but they do take some liberties with different things.
Kick ass. I can save
Money now and everyone can eat. Got money in the daytime, even grind it when I sleep. Wake up to getting bread, bitch, I do this for the streets. ADHD.
Jekyll56 just subscribed.
Thank you for that Prime sub there. Appreciate you, Jekyll. Thank you. Happy hacking. Caught me mid-bite, damn it. What boot camps would you suggest for someone who wants to learn to code? I don't suggest boot camps. Here's the problem with a boot camp. You're cramming so much knowledge in a limited amount of time. If you want to learn coding, you don't need to go to a boot camp. You don't even need to go to school for that stuff. I didn't. What I did was I studied other projects to see how things worked. Gave myself projects to make them work. I even used AI a few years ago when we were talking ChatGPT 3 when it was really, really bad. And then what you do is run it through, like, how would I build this? How would I do this? Explain how it does things. But don't necessarily trust that AI is going to get it right. It will make issues. It will hallucinate about stupid things, all that. Give yourself just projects to build and you'll learn over time more and more good and bad habits. Ask yourself questions like, what's the wrong way to do this? Or if this goes into an error state, how would we handle that? This uses secrets over here. How would I use a secrets manager to incorporate that? I'm going to have more videos. I have a video that I actually recorded on CICD. I got to finish editing. There'll be some talks about that. I've talked about some of my videos with like secrets management and stuff like that. There's plenty of people in the Discord and Matrix servers. You're more than welcome to join. Again, links are in bio. And we got coders, security people, IT people of all different skill levels. All are welcome. No, there's no paywall, none of that crap. I believe information should just be free and out there. So y'all are welcome to join, to have a good community to hang out in and, you know, bounce ideas around. But coding is not necessarily my full-time job. It's more of a side skill I've picked up that was more necessary to a lot of the things I was doing. I mean, my need for coding came primarily out of, I got sick and tired of all the tools that were in shitified or just not that great. Like, when I go live, for example, on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, I haven't figured out TikTok. TikTok's API is a bastard from hell. So janky. Anyway, I have a Docker, used to be on a Raspberry Pi, that calls out to check when I'm live. If live, we'll then make a go live post by looking at the headers, with the titles, and description if it's a YouTube post or short or long form video. There's another thing called BoonTube Demon, but they basically do the same thing. And then it will run that through my local AI server. And then it will post that to Discord, Blue Sky, Mastodon, and Matrix. Why did I make that? Because there was not a damn tool that worked with Matrix, Blue Sky, or Mastodon at the time. So I made my things. Technically, I could make it work for Twitter, but Elon kind of effed up the API when I started doing that, and I just got tired of trying to get it working again when he made things janky, but that's a whole other thing. Is that a receipt machine? Yes, it is! On this stream, we come... I still gotta, like, clean off my desk of all the receipts, but we come with receipts! So yeah, basically, if you're on Twitch, Kick, or YouTube, sorry, Twitch, I haven't figured out how to get that going. Again, janky. TikTok interactions are janky. But if you, like, donate more than 100 bits, if you tip through the tips, you know, the Stream Elements thing I have there, if you subscribe on Twitch, it will print out. If you gift subs, it'll print out. If you do a super chat on YouTube, it will print out. Also, if you, like, not subscribe, but you become a member of that, I think it'll do that too. And then Kick, I think it'll do that too if you subscribe. But yeah. Still need to order more Pexes. Or order some Pexes. Yeah, it's good hot sauce, man. I've been hyping that up for a while. Can you do a quick audit of my site? I don't really do audits and all that. That's more of my red team buddies kind of position on things. I can at most maybe look at it some other time, but yeah. Cybergrad, no cert, starting a new job soon at a local bank. Any tips? Don't eat the yellow snow. Don't ask for free samples while you're at the bank. Sorry. So you're new. Act like a sponge. Take everything in. Just remember, remind yourself, you're still new. You may have graduated college. It's, yeah, Cybergrad, no cert, just starting a job soon. you have your degree, but in the grand scheme of things, you don't know shit. Not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying, remind yourself this, give that your memento mori moment, that, you know, like, I am a mere mortal. So that way, you can learn more from the people that have been there. If you happen to find someone that is willing to mentor you, take advantage of that. Pick their brains. Ask questions. And remember, there's no such things as a stupid question, only people in the back of the classroom that pretend to know what's going on. What are some good projects for OT cybersecurity? Let me see. I'm trying to think. Industrial control systems. So we're talking about operational technologies. I think a lot of that would come down to zero trusting. There's different ways that you can detect movements around there. It's kind of hard to know with what specific OT technologies you're looking at. I would say learning the concept of zero trusting, at least at the philosophical level, is always a good thing. Knowing how to set up networks and how to pinhole the access there, and figuring out how to constantly authenticate and authorize things rather than implicitly trust. Mythos turns out to be a myth. What makes you say that? I just went 100 hours without food and I felt like that. How you go 100 hours? I'm fat. I could go 100 hours and still not, like, be dangerous. I want to do GovMil contracting, so I don't think a batch is optional for me. Yeah, government and military generally require degrees a little bit more. Wanted to pop in and say thank you. You helped convince me to leave Windows 10 months free. Congratulations! He has been freed from bondage! He has walked away and said... Thank you for the follow, by the way, Accelerated Graphics Port. Wait, you really made your name AGP? That's funny. That's funny. If you're old school, you know. Should have called yourself AGP 8X. Alright. Let's see. How do I subscribe to this legend? Well, you can follow me on all the platforms. I'm on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord, and Matrix. All the links? Wait. Is it right here? No, wait. Camera, wrong way! That! It's in the bio, up here. I think. UK size said that Mythos turned out to be a myth and not as Anthropic claimed. Oh, gee, imagine that! A company hyped up a product and it turned out to not do all the things that they said it would. Look, I've been of the opinion that people are like, oh my god, Mythos is gonna kill everything, and, you know, what do you think about Mythos? I got so annoyed by people coming into my chat for the past few streams and be like, Chief, what do you think about Mythos? What do you think about Mythos? And I'm like, I don't have it in my damn hand. So the most I can tell you is it's probably overhyped until it's in someone's hand, and we've been able to actually validate it. But so far, a lot of the people that were giving their opinions were really biased. Next up, Nvidia didn't actually archive AGI? Or you mean achieve AGI? Yeah, I said that a while ago. Is Linux scripting similar to Python? It doesn't use libraries, but you'll notice maybe some similarities. They have their different syntaxes and stuff like that. But coding is generally one of those things that once you understand a lot of the concepts with it, you can start picking out the patterns in other code given enough time. So it's not like this, oh, I know Python, now I have to relearn everything for, like, Bash. It's, oh, Bash is organized in this way. Some of the things here are similar, and some of the other things are different. And then you go from there. What utilities, apps do you host for yourself? A lot. I've got my Unify controller, my Grafana, my pfSense, my various bots that I build. So my Discord bot that I have, Penguin Overlord, that's locally. I've got Stream Demon, which announces when I'm live on streams. Save money now, we could eat, get money in the daytime, even count it when I sleep. Wake up to getting bread, bitch, I do this for the streets. ADHD. Thank you for that gifted sub over there. Accelerated graphics port. It was you, AGP. Thank you. And Freddy Beans, you should thank them for that sub. All right. Hold on. Catching up. Locally hosted services. Grafana, pfSense, was Prometheus, Twingate, I have local nodes for that for my ingress. pfSense is hosting Suricata. I have a Monero node that I run on another VLAN. I'm probably forgetting a few things. There's a whole logging and sim server that I've also built up that's hosting a lot of that Docker stuff. And it's got several VLANs and subnets attached to it. I can't do any of this because of health issues. I like listening. Hey, well, I hope you feel better. But, I mean, you can still do anything you put your mind to. And even if you physically can't, you can mentally be with us in spirit to accomplish all these things. Use Codex to make a project, then try to debug it yourself. Well, yeah, Codex can F off with a lot of things. I'm more of a Claude Opus person, but yeah. Do you believe coding will be phased out in regards to vibe coding and AI advancements? I don't think coding itself will be, because ultimately you're still going to need people that understand coding to do things right. Like, AI can do things and do it overconfidently and be way wrong. I've seen it a lot of times. I've seen people vibe code things and break things in production because they made things that they didn't document or understand how it worked and then had to unfuck it. I think you're going to see the augmentation of coding, where a lot of coders don't have to go through the tedium and monotony of writing a lot of code, but they're still going to have to understand it, debug it, do unit tests on it, set up CI/CD pipelines, run all of that through it. So a lot of the tedium and monotony that I even had to go through, I don't have to deal with as much, but I am at the point where I can look at code after doing tests and be like, that's wrong, or look through code and be like, that's missing that, that's missing that. No, this is not going the right way. You still have to know how to architect things. If you follow Chiefs Fansly, it will print. Someone was asking how many ads I run on the Twitch side. It's only 90 seconds. What are your thoughts on Seer XNG? I like it. I'm gonna be running Seer XNG eventually. It's on my to-do list with a bunch of other stuff. I like that, you know, you can anonymize and make a lot of your stuff searching a little bit more private. It doesn't require too much in the way of resources, so I have plenty left on my logging/Docker box for that. I feel like ICS, it's a lot of firewalling. Alright. Hi, was Vista your favorite OS? No, that's the reason why I left Windows to go to Linux, actually. I left it that long ago. When do you usually go live? Generally Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, sometimes I'll do additional days in between. Sundays I like to get on a little bit earlier, but Sundays are gaming on Linux nights. So we do game. Y'all can still talk, you know, ask questions, things like that. This past Sunday we were doing Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm probably going to be playing that for a little while to get through it, because I still haven't, like, finished that game. I at most, like, got through, like, 15%, and I just started a new save. And then we'll probably go through Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind next. That's my favorite Elder Scrolls game. I got to get a bunch of mods loaded up for that. I'm only, like, 1/3 the way done testing it. Can confirm as a government contractor in cyber, elevated access requires at least Sec Plus or IAT2. Oh, okay. What pads are those? These? I don't remember where I got these. Found them somewhere on Amazon, but I like them a lot. Zero Trust, can I get access? F no. Yep. Remember, I forgot he for 2 days once. What Linux distro do you recommend for someone else who wants to escape Windows? I personally use Pop! OS, like I've said before. But some people like Bazite, some people like Fedora. A lot of people that generally start out go with Zorin or Mint. Try a few choices and see generally what floats your boat, but don't let that Arch person in your life tell you to start using Arch. Just remember, they don't touch grass. They barely shower. You think I'll be good at trying to get into private sector or government? Also minor in data science. I don't see why not. A lot of those jobs mostly depend on, like, you applying yourself. Double majoring in cyber and intelligence studies, been interning since freshman. Okay. I mean, you should be able to. It's a little bit weird of a market period. What are your thoughts on System D? So when are they going to install an Office suite in System D? No, System D, I mean, at first I, didn't like it because it breaks the Unix philosophy of do one thing and do it really well. But I've come around to actually really liking it because it's a lot easier to diagnose, troubleshoot, go through logs, and deal with it to the point that I've actually been using System D timers over cron jobs to automate a lot of different things. One of the best use cases for AI was actually transfer my understanding of coding between languages that I found for... Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's definitely great at that. I've written things out in Python, I know how they should work, and then gave them to friends, and then they've rewritten into, like, Node or whatever else they need. I want to get into IT, but it wouldn't be for good. Like, as in time? Or are you just sitting there with the Dr. Evil pinky? Yeah, for those wondering, Twitch just has like 90 seconds of ads at most. And that's per hour, I think. I'm gonna get back into CS, been away for 4 years. A lot's changed in 4 years, so stick to it! I'm kidding. And if you want AGP, you can totally join the Discord and Matrix servers. We have, the links are in bio for it. We have a great community of all different walks of life. It's growing all the time. We've got a little over 1,000 people, I think, in there, and there's a few dozen that are relatively active in there. Make sure you use Open Morrowind. I only use Open Morrowind. Someone about 2 classes on software architecture. AI definitely ain't there yet. Oh, yeah, it definitely is not. So did you say you get your game on your PC via Linux? Yup. I have been gaming on Linux for 15 years. Long before Proton was even around. Back when Doom 3 and Quake 4 and Enemy Territory Quake Wars and many other games had native Linux installers, and we had to roll around with ATI FGLRX drivers and that nightmare. Things are a lot easier since then. 1,000-yard PTSD stare. How's the job market for cybersecurity? A second. So how's the job market for cybersecurity at this day? The job market overall is kind of weird. Not just for cybersecurity, overall. There's a lot of hesitation to hire, but they're slow to fire. In general. Entry level is pretty tough right now from what I've been told. If you're mid to senior level, it's not as hard. When I wanted to leave my last job, I started looking around and applying around Thanksgiving. I was getting callbacks after New Year's, and I accepted the job offer for where I'm at now 3 weeks before the end of February, and I gave myself a week off at the end of February to just relax, and then I started the beginning of March. Home labbing? Yep. What's something that love, hate, and Pop OS, Chief? I've been having to do quite a few workarounds to get my streaming stuff working, primarily because of the Nvidia drivers. It's not really a Pop OS issue specifically, but the Nvidia drivers, I had to do some X11 tweaks. So, like, for example, we're going to have to do the review on stream stuff where we go through content and everything. But if you remember, if you were here last night, this screen was fuzzy. Now, why was it fuzzy? Was I got the new capture card to fix the audio issues, and it was outputting to 1440p, or so I thought. So it was outputting at 1440p on this machine, but for some reason the capture card was downgrading it to 720p. So I had to figure out what was going on there. I initially thought it was the cable, as I said on a few social media posts. Turns out it wasn't that. Turns out Pop OS's implementation of the Nvidia GPU drivers, or it could just be Nvidia stack and the 590 drivers, was sending it out on 10-bit color, and on X11 Windows server, it has some weird wonkiness that was already fixed in Wayland, but I'm on Pop OS 2204. This will be fixed when I go to 2604. So I had to do an xorg.conf modification to force the EDID to send the color out in 8-bit rather than 10-bit. So I then could use this at 120 hertz because it would work at 100 hertz with 10-bit color, but you don't really need 10-bit color when you're streaming because the Nvidia NVENC encoders encode by default at 8-bit, and Twitch and YouTube encode everything at 8-bit anyway, so there's no reason to send it over 10-bit to there. I see it on my monitors at 10-bit. It will look better than it does on the stream, but I had to do all of that stuff. That was right before stream I was figuring that out. So, but a lot of the issues that I had with Pop OS are kind of remediated, it seems, in 2604. And for the lesser extent, 2404. What are your thoughts on the importance of identity and IAM in the realm of cybersecurity? It's super important. If you don't have good identity and access management, you have an identity crisis. But seriously, it's one of the most important things because a lot of the security is about making sure who has access, should have access, and constantly be authorized and authenticated to the different things they need, especially as we move more towards zero trust network access and zero trusting as a whole. They shouldn't have more access than they need. And a lot of that works into RBAC, role-based access controls. So the ideal is that when you onboard an employee, their title should give them permissions automatically, that when they're dropped in this group, it gives them access to what they need, and you shouldn't have to go around manually provisioning them everything. It should just automatically be granted through SCIM. That is the ideal. A lot of businesses can't even get there because they don't have their RBAC in place. And to a lesser extent, ABAC on things like CrowdStrike. That's attribute-based access control. So, yeah. Okay, I don't know why TikTok rolled over to the next video, but okay. That was in my stream. Should I be very good at networking before I can study network security management? You need to at least know the concepts. Networking is one of those things that I always tell everyone you should at least know, regardless of IT or that. You don't have to know it to like the super in-depth extremes depending on where you're at. But if you're talking about network security, yeah, you should know networking. Because you don't really understand zero trust network access and how to pinhole things without understanding networking and how all of that. Because if you're talking about restricting RFC 1918, you don't know what that is unless you get into it. And what that is that's all your local private networks, like your 10-aughts, your 172.168s, I think it is, and your 192.168, subnets and things like that. And then how you're going to subnet that, how you're going to allow access, how you're going to move all the stuff in, and then understanding, security, you're going to want to understand Radius and 802.1x and how they play into networking. So, yeah, you should understand networking at a pretty good level if you're talking about security of network security. I mean, network security management. I do not miss FGLRX. I had to get a multi-head display running because I was a madman and I messed with Linux Wacom. Oof. RIP. Installed Linux Mint on the new GMK Tech K12 Nuckbox best decision ever. Nice. Hey bro, I follow you. I'm also a cybersecurity professional and I appreciate your content. Well, happy hacking, Zayon Cyber. Entry-level jobs in InfoSec are hard to come by these days. Entry-level jobs in general in tech are kind of hard, or a lot of entry-level jobs, period. Q1 is layoff time. There will be openings in this summer. It depends. It depends where the company's fiscal year is. So some companies will hire in Q1 and then may let go in Q1 to open up OPEX for new people that aren't performing. But it really depends on the company. So it's different however they do it. I've heard a rumor that Nvidia may be outsourcing, open sourcing their driver. Don't know if this is true. They've been open sourcing it. They've been. So if you actually, let me see if I can pull it up on my machine here. Okay, so hold up. Sudo apt install Nvidia driver. All right. So with my GPU, I actually had to install the open source driver. It wouldn't work. So if you look, you see how there's like Nvidia driver 590 open? Oh yeah, probably helps if I move that. For the TikTok people. But you see how we have that over there? Yeah. That is an open driver right there. There's the closed one. Now, the open driver will still work with like my 3070, but you need to have the open driver for my 5070 Ti to work. Student studying computer science for pen tester. What languages are the future in cybersecurity? Well, for pen testing, generally it depends on what you're trying to do pen testing with. So it could be... Python's heavily used. Bash, PowerShell, those are generally good scripts to know in general. But if you're doing like AppSec, things like that, then it depends on like what you're going to be building. And like I know some people go with C or, JavaScripts. I have another one that does PHP stuff. So it really depends on where you're trying to niche down. Love to hear more on troubleshooting Linux for gaming. Yeah, well, it wasn't really an issue of troubleshooting for Linux for gaming. It was just an issue with a stream thing. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to center my TikTok screen because I realized when I adjusted it, it moved. No. Where, oh, where? Okay, there we go. Linux box. Transform. Center horizontal. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. What is my latest project? So on my GitHub, I got a few projects I'm working on. And then we really got to get into at least getting a couple of videos reviewed here. So we have a few projects here. So obviously I've got Stream Daemon and BoonTube Daemon I've made, and Yo Mama as a service. There's pfSense SimStack, which plays into the big stack that I've really been focusing on. This is a good repository if you need to know about pfSense and lots of ways to do things. It's a little bit of a mess, I know, but there's like all sorts of stuff, like Microfauna dashboards are in here, so you can build this. The architecture over here for the Eve JSON forwarders for a logging server. The idea is basically around this whole project with 3 different repos to be a SimSOAR knock and sock. So security information and event monitoring, security orchestration, automation, response, and then there is Network Operations Center and Security Operations Center. So this is one part of it. Hey, Poppers. Where's the good boy? My dog just came over here. My other dog. And then, yeah, this is great if you want to at least understand, like, pfSense and stuff like that. But I haven't touched this in a little while. But, yeah, if you need to know about configurations, suggestions, things like that, there's that. Now, in my other stuff that I have, this is the big one I'm working on right now, the Sim Docker stack. This takes in the pfSense data, all that from CrowdSec and Telegraph and all that. And then you've got syslog-ng putting into the Logstash on OpenSearch with a hot warm disk, InfluxDB, Prometheus, Waza, running with VirusTotal, and then N8N integrations. I'm working on that. Portainer's on there. JumpCloud's feeding data in. I have another repo for that. But there's a lot going in here. This isn't even documenting, like, all of it. I still have to improve it. But it's a beefy boy. This is the specs it's running on, so you can understand, and you can see where I'm trying to go with it. But if you're curious on what the plans are, in Docs, under Roadmap, you have my plans for the entire roadmap here of what I'm planning to, build out. So, that's going to take me a while. Do you use AI in this project? Yeah, I do. It's a difference of me figuring out how to do these things in years versus each step I can get done in weeks or months. It's honestly at the point right now in technology where you can't be that ardent anti-AI person because people are looking to hire those that actually know how to use AI effectively. And if given the choice between the one person that doesn't know AI and the person that knows how to leverage it, they will pick the person with AI knowledge. Alright, let's at least knock out a couple of videos over here that we had in our review on stream section. If you're not familiar with this, this is an area on our Discord server. I may have to start locking this down just a mod so that we can, like, triage things. I'll cross that bridge once we come to it. Because there's a lot of content in here we're still catching up on. And it doesn't always have to be cybersecurity stuff. It can be anything and everything. Like right over here, there's a Starbucks situation, apparently, with Kid Crack. So, we'll be curious to see what's going on with there. Oh, I didn't even have the screen open for that. Hold on. I need to open the sound over here, make sure the audio can be ported over, so we can make sure this is working. I have a script that I set up to automatically set up. Cool. I set this up a couple of days ago. That it will actually set up a handshake, or will redo a handshake anytime I have my capture card detected, it will also rearrange the monitors the way I want. So those are the two projects that I have for it, is Pipewire Sync, and then there's another one I don't have listed here because I made so many projects I had to pick and choose. But I made this Nvidia X11 multi-monitor toolkit. I just updated this not too long ago because I was fixing the 120 hertz issue I was talking about here, and it even has some optimizations for browser tweaks, although a lot of this stuff may not be relevant once you move over to Wayland, which is in the newer version of Pop! OS, but I'm still on 2204, so. And then this is the Pipewire Sync to make a combined sync, so that way you can have all your audio output to all of your devices, as is the case for my stuff, because when I'm streaming, I need to hear it on my headphones on my Rodecaster Pro 2 mixer, which goes to both of my computers, but also I need it to go out to over HDMI to this computer so you can hear it. How do you like the N8N agent integration like Cortex? We use Cortex at work. I've just started like playing with it to understand it because we haven't fully integrated it. So I can't really speak too much on Cortex, but so far N8N, I've liked the community version. I still have to do more building out with it. I'll have more opinions once I build more of those alerts out. But with that being said, let's get to our review on stream section. So this is from Kiana Docherty? I don't know. I found this video in my browsing and I was like, this seems interesting for a non-tech video for us to do before we jump into the other ones. Like we have, you know, the next one. We have tons of videos here. My mods and other people in the community have like been sharing videos. This is also why I've been on stream more, because I've been trying to catch up with this content. I'm gonna have to force myself to like really dig through this content, but yeah. Anyway.
People have been noticing that their local Starbucks is full of children. It's full of teens, preteens, it's even full of toddlers.
Holy shit! I just realized that because I went to Starbucks for the first time today because I had to meet with my financial planner. And thinking back at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that. I didn't clock it until I like just ran that back, and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of kids at Starbucks. That's kind of weird.
Come with me to get my Starbucks.
Yeah.
What's the GitHub repo again? All of my GitHub repos, I have it linked in my bio, but it's the same username that I have everywhere, Chief Geeked. You know, Charlie, Hotel, India, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Yankee, Kilo, 3, Delta. Having trouble getting entry-level jobs, studying CCNA, will that put me in a better position? The thing is, it's not so much the certs right now, as it's just a really weird market. A lot of companies are apprehensive to hire right now, because the reality is, and I'm not by any means trying to be political here, but this is the reality of it. When Donald Trump came in and imposed a lot of these tariffs and stuff like that, it created a lot of uncertainty in the market that a lot of businesses then became really apprehensive about expansion and sticking to their prior plans. Unfortunately, that hurts entry-level people the most. And also at the same time, you have this problem where all these companies are looking for mid to senior level people, but not realizing the best way to get that is get entry level people and train them. So I'm not saying CCNA will hurt, but I'm telling you that overall, I mean, it could help, but overall the market is a really weird situation right now for entry level. You've tried Starbucks, it's disgusting. It is disgusting. But I had to find a place that we could both really easily know.
Yes, Starbucks has somehow become
Using AI to write its own custom MCP servers using locally hosted AI exclusively. Nice.
after-school destination for kids. Many of them are proudly addicted and obsessed. It's a tween status symbol.
What the hell?
Chug a sugary caffeinated milkshake and then chug.
We should not be giving kids sugary drinks, period.
Think about it. This is weird. How
I drink water and tea.
Starbucks was a coffee store for adults, professionals, college students. Yet it's become a sugary caffeine dealer for children. How? Was it parents passing on their Starbucks addictions? Or is it because Starbucks has been aggressively marketing to kids?
Wait, they have?
Is
That's
this a
F.
problem? Is it making kids high-strung and obese? Or is this a normal part of our culture now? So today we're discussing Starbucks kids. From
It's an abnormal part of our culture.
secret strategy to attract children. And of course, the health implications, because what does happen when you have a bunch of children chugging caffeine-laden sugar bombs every day? So to kick this off, I need to
45 to 55 milligrams of caffeine to a little kid. That's a lot. What type of tea? So, I have the zombie tea I got from Emerald Coast Alternatives. It's like a mix of, here, I could actually go through the teas that I bought. Hold on. Emerald Coast Alternatives. Ooh, squirrel. Welcome to an ADHD streamer. All right, so this is the company I go to. So they have some ones that are actually pretty good for ADHD. Not like you shouldn't take your medicines and take these, but it helps chill me out a little bit. So this is one of my favorite ones, the zombie tea. And then they also have, where was it? Mad as a Hatter. And then they have... Where's the inflammation one that I get? This one. So these are the ones I generally have. I ordered some more tea as well. It should be here in a week or two. So the zombie one is green tea, hibiscus, damiana, marshmallow root, guarana seeds, and peppermint. That's not what I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking Mad as a Hatter, which is green tea, spearmint, hibiscus, damiana, and passion flower. And then the inflammation one is sage, calendula, white willow bark, ginkgo, and lemon balm. They got some really great teas overall. Plus, I like to support small business.
show you this image.
You know they put crack in their drinks, right? Yeah, they do. They put caffeine in there. How dare you? I like paying $7.50 for 90% ice and 5% drink and 5% air, sir. They have a masala? I'm not entirely sure, but the website is Emerald Coast Alternatives is the company. I think it's just .com. You can Google it. You saw what the page looks like. They have a lot of great teas. They've been expanding their selection. If I recall, it's run by 2 disabled women. I actually found them initially on TikTok. I know, you're like, TikTok made me buy it, but I was like, let me see what they got. And I was like, I actually like these tea combos. So I bought a small sample, fell in love with it, and then I'm picking tea back up again. I bought, like, the tea, like, about a year or so ago, and then I just stopped drinking tea for whatever reason, and just ordered some new ones. I actually remembered it, that I liked them out so much that I had to dig through my emails to remember where I ordered from. Anyway.
Image that was posted in a Starbucks Facebook fan group. I'm honestly not totally sure how I found this, and I couldn't find it again afterwards, but here we go. So, just wanted to share this with you guys. My 2-year-old little human started getting his own drinks since he was about 1.5 years old. He's gonna be 3 soon, and I just wanted to ask you guys, should I be concerned? He wakes up every day and says, "Oh my god, mom, we need some Starbucks to help us today." Eye roll, facepalm, 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 laughing face, laughing face. Talk about a coffee addiction for mom and a frap addiction for littles.
That's not good. That's not good. We have a huge problem as it is with sugar in this country. We have a real sugar addiction. You should not be giving kids sugar, processed sugar to be specific. I'm a proponent of give them apples. Give them oranges. Maybe you shouldn't even give them juice too much. But a juice in the day, absolutely fine. I don't think kids should even have caffeinated drinks. Not at least until they're in their teen years. And even then, it should be under strict moderation. I The problem that we have in this country, why people are so obese, is a lot of it has to do with our diets. Sugar is one of the worst things that we have. This heavy sugar. And like when I add a little bit of sweetness to my stuff, I don't have it in here, but I'll add honey. I'm okay with honey. I mean, too much honey is still bad for you. Just a little bit. And we've effed our taste buds so much in this country when it comes to salting and sugaring foods that I have detoxed my body so much from sugar that if I drink a Coca-Cola, I'm like, damn, that's too sweet. Like Frappuccino. I had a Frappuccino today with an extra shot of espresso, double blended. That is probably more sugar than I've had all day if we're not talking natural sugars. I love dates. I love Honeycrisp apples. I will eat apples all day long. I will go apple picking and eat nothing but apples all day, and I'm good. Oh, hell no. I found my soap supplier from TikTok. I love her product. Oh! Let me know, because apparently Dr. Squatch got bought out by some, like, big company. They've been changing materials, so I'm kind of looking at an alternative. Because I don't like where the things are going. And so I'm looking for something else. You're probably the only creator I enjoy listening to. Enough for me to sit and watch adverts to support you. Aw. Thank you. That means a lot. That really means a lot. I mean, I don't know what to say. I really appreciate that. I'll post a link in Discord. Where should I put it? Just put it in general and tag me. I'll see it later. I drowned my tea in lemon juice. Lemon juice is great. Look, I actually loved lemons so much as a kid. My mom told me she had to hide the lemons because it actually was like eating the enamel away, and they had to like take me to dentists and stuff. I loved lemons to the point I would eat lemons like oranges. I still love lemon. We are so used to processed food. When we eat healthy food, we think it's bad. Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in a Moroccan family, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean diets. So I grew up, oh, you want a little treat? Here's an avocado, a little pinch of salt on it, straight out, scoop, eat. Bananas, oranges, dates. The sweetest things we would do, my grandmother would make these pastries with like rose water. Oh, her sponge cake, it was so moist. I should ever make that sometime.
Kick ass.
I can save money now, one could eat. Getting money in the dick, I'm even counting when I sleep. Wake up to getting bread, bitch, I do this for the streets. ADHD.
Professor_Kilroy just resubbed for 2 months.
Hey, thank you.
Seeing how I grew tired of talking in stereo, both here and on TikTok.
I guess. Thank you for that sub there, Professor Kilroy. Appreciate you. Happy hacking, buddy. But yeah, I mean, we can go on a tangent about this. You've heard me talk about this all the time, why I eat mostly ethnic foods and eat at, like, Ethiopian and, like, proper, like, African spots, Mediterranean spots, even when I travel across the USA.
My husband cannot stand us, by the way, and has put us on a Starbucks allowance. Laughing face.
That's not something to laugh
What
at.
do you say about this? I honestly don't even have words.
The kids are doomed.
The most insane example I could find of what we're about to talk about today. As you'll see, this is a whole thing, and some parents are calling them Starbucks kids. They range in...
So yours truly dropped the new white paper on Medium, Substack, and Gov white papers about 2 weeks ago. Oh, you did? You'll have to share that. Put that in the review on stream. Actually, just put it in general. I'll take a look at it. I'm curious what you did. Can you give us, like, the abstract? Put it in Discord. Because I know I'll see it there. I want to give it a proper read. Maybe tonight before bed. And maybe tomorrow when I'm at work, because there's probably some downtime I'll have. And then maybe next time I'm on stream, we can talk about it. That sounds good. Oof, iPad kids to Starbucks. Oof, what happened to McDonald's kids? New forensics model on converged infrastructure environments. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a read. Just post it in the Discord in general and then tag me. I'll take a look at it after stream and then give it a read through. If I have time, I might stream again tomorrow so we can catch up on some more content. We'll see. But yeah.
Think of a coffee shop's most busy time of day. You're probably thinking morning rush, professionals on their way to work. But in some locations, that's not true anymore. It's
Really?
after school. Isn't that crazy?
What?
As soon as that bell hits, kids are filing in and ordering things like frappuccinos, various forms of caffeinated lemonade, and their absolute favorite Starbucks acai pink drink refreshers. Specifically, the Starbucks acai pink drink thing has been confirmed by Starbucks employees to be the #1 most popular drink with teens and tweens. And this is one of the many things that make me think that this whole Starbucks addiction thing is mostly centered on girls, which makes sense because I feel like your typical middle class or upper middle class Gen Alpha girl is into the following these days. So
Oh, we got the Gen Alpha's girl starter pack.
and Starbucks.
Wait, was that Lululemon? Uggs are still a thing? Sephora, I kind of knew that was a thing for a while. My cousin does makeup, so I kind of figured that. But Starbucks, jeez. Wait. If we put a Venn diagram over there with basic white girl, is that basically a circle? Not in my town. You hardly see teens here. Is that because you locked them all in your basement, Kara? I'm curious. This is a pink energy drink. I just want to see what the ingredients are in this. Can we find the ingredients? 140 calories for a grande. I mean, it's what, got coconut milk, strawberry fruit infusions, but that's a lot of calories once you get to the larger. Like, if you get a tall or even a grande, it's like, okay, you know, nice little treat. But I need to find the nutrition facts. Nutrition. Okay. So, ice, strawberry, acai, refresher base, water, sugar. Ooh. That means it's going to have a lot of sugar, doesn't it? 25 grams? In a grande? Holy! With 50 milligrams of caffeine in the caffeinated versions. Jeez! Now, for reference, hold on. Coca-Cola sugar content. 12 ounce. Okay, so Coca-Cola still has more in a 12 ounce. But that's still not good. Like, if we go into... Wait, why is it?
Stoic_Axel is now chilling in the lab.
Oh, 1 can is 33 grams, but if we go into 1 cup small fat... No, it's 31 grams. So it's got only a few grams less than this. Damn.
Just last year, an 8-year-old girl was picked up by police when she stole her mother's SUV.
Wait, what?
To get a frappuccino.
What?
The story is that she had like a little wad of cash on her and she went on a Target shopping spree and then finished off with a frappuccino from the Starbucks inside.
This sounds like Diary of the Crimes of a Basic White Bitch. You stole your mom's SUV to go on a Target spending spree and Starbucks? I'm sorry, what?
On a Facebook post from Bedford Police, they said they did let her finish her frappuccino.
Anyway, I hope I've proved my point.
Hold up. What did it say?
Police, they said they did let her finish.
Well, I finally found a woman who's in more of a hurry to shop at Target than my wife. More of a hurry by 8 years. That's right, an 8-year-old took mommy's car this morning. An 8-year-old! And drove to Target in Bainbridge. It's the bills! See, that's why you don't get kids on Grand Theft Auto. They're going to start reenacting it like this. I'm joking. I'm joking. But, come on! It ain't that far off! Thankfully, she made it and was immediately located by Bainbridge police. She's now home safe. Not sure what she bought or if she was even able to use her Target app to save 5%. We did let her finish her Frappuccino. We're not mean. Jesus.
Her Frappuccino.
Anyway, I hope I've proved my point. Kids are really into Starbucks now. In just a few years, Starbucks has completely transformed from a place that was clearly primarily just for adults to being like 3 seconds away from installing their own play place. And I wanted to know, how did we get here exactly? I was originally inspired by this article here by
Beltonix, you know, one of the things I love about open source projects is comments like this. If older than Blender 3.5, Blender 5.1 is the newest, by the way. If I wanted to, I could download Blender 1.0 and use it. Nothing stops me. I love open source software. So, if you want to have funny comments, I got funny things baked into my projects too. Hold up. Where did I do it? Stream Demon. There are funny comments all over the code of Stream Demon. I got really drunk one night and decided to just add George Carlin humor. Okay. So, let's see. StreamDemon.py. There were some great gems in here when I looked back over this when I was sober. Okay, it doesn't have it in the core, but it'll probably have it in the app. No, not that one. That's guardrails. Oh, post to all social platforms asynchronously using thread pull executor. We use threads here because when you absolutely positively need to tell 4 different social networks at the same time that someone started playing Fortnite, can't risk a 200 millisecond delay. That's 200 milliseconds. Someone might miss the stream start. The horror. Oh, I have some funny ones in here. Where's the best ones I had? Check if message contains clickbait forbidden words that we explicitly told the AI not to use. This catches when the LLM ignores our prompt instructions. We built a machine that can process language at superhuman levels, and we use it to generate social media posts. Then we have it to check if the machine had using the words insane or epic, because apparently we can't trust it to follow basic fucking instructions. It's like hiring a PhD to write greeting cards, then having to make sure they didn't write anything too smart. Welcome to the goddamn future. Oh, there were some great ones in here. Validate that generated message follows our rules. It's a post-generation quality check to catch when the LLM uses wrong number of hashtags, includes forbidden clickbait words, accidentally involves the URL and content, hallucinates details not in the title. Yes, we have to fact-check the robot that we programmed, that we gave explicit instructions to, and it still F's up about 10% of the time. It's like having a calculator that's right 90% of the time. Great job, humanity. We've achieved artificial intelligence that needs an effing babysitter. George Carlin would lose his shit. We can't trust people, so we built machines. Now we can't trust the machines either. What's next? We build machines to watch the machines? It's mistrust all the way down. Check if the message is too similar in reasons, because nobody wants to read the same effing announcement 5 times. Although, to be fair, humans already do this manually. Going live, Twitch, going live, YouTube, going live, Kick. Real creative there, Chief. At least the AI has the decency to pretend it's trying to be different. Add message to deduplication cache. Use a simple FIFO queue. Old messages get pushed out. It's not rocket science, just an effing list. Count emoji characters in a message, because apparently some people think more emojis equals more engagement. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. You just look like you're 12. But hey, who am I to judge? I am just here teaching robots not to spam emojis. Living the dream. Where was the... I have to find one of the best ones out here. I remember. Score message quality. We're literally grading the AI's homework like it's in school. Sorry, robot, you get a C-. Try harder next time. This is what we become. Quality control for artificial enthusiasm. George Carlin would have a 30-minute bit about this shit. Like, this is what I put in there. All the way down. This is a post-generation guardrail to filter out username-derived hashtags that the LLM may have incorrectly generated despite prompt instructions. Because apparently teaching a computer don't use the person's name as a hashtag is like explaining to your uncle why hashtag MAGA isn't a personality trait. Like, there's, you know, all these different, like, little snippets in here. You will have some good laughs. But yeah, that's also why I like open source code. There's also some funny comments I left at my last job when I knew it was my last week, so I added a whole bunch of funny comments. Like, I actually added at the top of the main file, to understand the recursion of this program, see the bottom of the script. And then at the bottom of the script, it said, to understand the recursion in this program, see the recursion notes at the top of the script. See what I did there? Guess you spent 2 hours using phones on portable APs to validate a Wi-Fi design. I'm guessing it's two thumbs and the guy's name has Nero in it?
By Bloomberg titled How Starbucks Became a Sugary Teen Emporium. And I was originally going to just stick to what's in the article because it's all about how Starbucks is marketing to children. It's some of the best marketing in the game and they never get in trouble for it. But as I looked into it, I realized there was a missing piece of the story because the little kid Starbucks addiction thing, it begins much earlier. With
that dog in the background is so cute.
A child's Starbucks addiction begins quite innocuously when a small child witnesses their mother or father getting their own morning brew. And this situation has a lot of range. In some cases, we're just talking about normal parents who go to Starbucks to get their morning coffee. Their kid sees them drinking it, and then they want it too. Totally
right.
Stuff that happens all the time. But
yeah, kids emulate their parents.
Running into the more extreme side.
Your wrist hurts now. Your wrist hurts now? Why does your wrist hurt, Nero? What were you doing? I know your laptop. I was just like, you left an opening there. I had to take it.
Starbucks addicts themselves who have made Starbucks part of
Gotta speed this video up.
and thus then transfer that love.
Well, at least watch this video tonight, and then I'll try to get on stream again tomorrow.
But it is a
or at least Friday.
surprisingly common personality trait. We all know the type, okay? They're frequently seen wearing shirts like this. They drink out of both Stanley cups and Starbucks branded bedazzled tumblers. They consider this water, and their
What the hell?
home decor
That ain't water.
something like this.
That is flavored water.
Results in the most extreme type of Starbucks addict, the child and or baby addict, as evidenced by this Medium article by a woman with the last name Hummus. My 3-year-old is obsessed with Starbucks, and I am to blame. I love coffee, and because
Your last name is Hummus. You couldn't get them addicted to chickpeas?
I love coffee,
We have moms like that here, huh?
I
Was the opening Nero's Kung Fu Grip?
Some people feel like Starbucks is getting
It's like the morning version of Wine Moms. I will say this. When I am in Vegas, it's one of the few times that I actually allow myself Starbucks because it's one of the few coffee places you have when you're at DEF CON. I will totally get whiskey and pour it in my coffee in the morning. Look, I ain't driving anywhere. And Abby, you've hung with me. You know, when I go to party, I enjoy myself.
support local coffee shops. Well, I get it. Starbucks is the flagship of coffee shops, no doubt. But Starbucks gets me. We have a long history and we are comfortable together. We're like old lovers that are happy in our ways. I suppose the thing I love most about Starbucks is that my drink is always perfect. It's always made exactly how I like it. And then there is my 3-year-old son. Starbucks is simply part of his life.
Maybe you should learn to make your drink at home.
From the moment he was born, it was a home away from home, a safe place in a world of chaos, an oasis in a coffeeless desert. Daddy, I want Starbucks. I want pumpkin bread and chalky milk. And how am I supposed to say no to that? Also, I already wanted to go to
Simple. No!
Starbucks from the moment I woke up. So we hop in the van and off we go. He is so excited. He just keeps saying, pumpkin bread.
Unfortunately, my coffee fund is 100% dedicated to buying PC parts. Can't buy the good stuff off the corner when RAM costs a down payment. So I actually buy my coffee from Costco, and then I fresh grind the beans and then make it myself. Seriously, save so much money. That and Gooner juice or whatever energy drink powder Mr. Hammer slings. Is it Gamer Subs or whatever? He has like one of those. Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I watch Caleb Hammer too. I've actually been thinking about maybe I should apply to be on his show, but I don't think my finances are effed up enough. But I also wonder, because he's gotten like some internet celebrities, if I'm popular enough that he wouldn't require me to get an anonymous name. Or if he still would. Because, like, I'm not like the bunch of the streamers he brings on that are, like, trying to do it, but they're, like, nobodies. No offense to any of them. I mean, it's a tough gig to be a streamer, but I have a following of, like, 400K across different platforms. I mean, he did audit the state of Michigan, though. Yeah, I was there when he was not there in person, but I saw his interview with the governor of Michigan, I think it was, if that's what I'm thinking of correct. With the news about Google changing the rules for Android developers, all app developers need to register with Google, and it requires them to give the government ID, fee, all current and future apps, and terms and conditions, of course. Yeah, I've heard some about that. Yitz is working on an app right now, and it's been a pain what he's had to jump through, to the point that he actually said these words. It's easier to develop and publish an app on the Apple App Store now than it is to get into the Google Play Store. He said those words. I'm not an app developer, so I'm going to have to go by his words. He's the developer of over 20 years.
pumpkin bread. As we pull up to Starbucks,
This is how you say no coffee. Back the F up, Demon. Demon, no coffee for you. Stay back, Damien, demon seed child from hell. Fun story. That was one of the nicknames my mom had for me.
Logo and loses his shit. Now he's screaming, Starbucks, Starbucks, Starbucks. To him, the logo is not a picture of a siren covering her boobs with her long hair, although the seduction aspect is not lost on me. It's not even a woman. It's just a shape that represents his happiness. All he sees is a symbol of his excitement. A future where pumpkin loaf crumbs are covering his car seat and chocolate milk is dripping off his chin. It is the highlight of his day. It's a win-win. I get my coffee and he gets his pumpkin bread. Okay, I don't judge if someone takes their kids to Starbucks and gives them whatever. I definitely do judge though if your kid is trained to salivate when they see the Starbucks sign. That is a lot of Starbucks if your kid is conditioned by the sign to freak out.
It's the same thing as McDonald's when I was a kid. It's the same kind of conditioning.
And you know what's crazy? I was quickly able to find a video of a kid doing...
Yeah, it's a siren covering their boobs with the long hair and having their legs up in the air.
Telling me you're addicted to Starbucks.
Bro, that is like the same reaction I had as a kid, apparently, to like passing Wendy's. Chicken nugget! Chicken nugget! But I can totally respect, like, okay, a kid wants chicken nuggets more than I can a Starbucks thing. Granted, if you get chicken nuggets at Wendy's. McDonald's, ew. Their CEO doesn't even refer to their food as food. He calls them products. That tells you everything. This is why Mexico bans mascots on cereal. Oh, really? Didn't know they did that. Chief is hyper, get him coffee. That would calm me down.
Get a Starbucks.
You happy, baby? Yay.
That's not good.
My son as fuck. We go to Starbucks 2 times a day, every day. Well, that's gonna be my child in the future, haha. Literally my boys, they are the same way. You see what I mean? Parents proudly passing on their Starbucks addiction to their kids because they've made it part of their personality. Now,
I'm gonna borrow a phrase from Caleb Hammer. Starbucks is bullshit! Seriously, I want you to think about how much money that is. You go with your kid twice a day, so you're both getting a drink. Each time, what is that, like $12 to $15 a pop? That's $24 to $30 a day.
like I said, it's super normal for kids to want to consume what they see their parents consuming. It's literally a problem that parents all over probably have to figure out due to, you know, kids not being able to have coffee and parents consuming coffee. The parent has something, the kid sees it, the kid wants it, normal. Now, obviously, kids can't have coffee. So some parents are dealing with this struggle by giving their kids fake Starbucks. I saw many parents giving their kids like water with berries in it or milk with berries in it. That way their very young child gets to feel included, but they're not consuming a pile of caffeine and sugar. However, I saw so many clips of parents giving their children full frappuccinos, like 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, a drink to themselves.
I'm okay with flavored water and like milk with berries. That's not the worst thing.
Calling out parents, loading
Give them kids pup cups.
caffeine. Stop giving your children caffeine. Your child doesn't need caffeine, especially if they're 10. They don't need the mocha cookie crumble. They don't need a caramel ribbon crunch. And they don't need that strawberry refresher either. As a matter of fact, they don't need anything here because basically everything is caffeinated. I was at a store and this mom ordered a refresher for her child.
You know, this is a good statement here. The other thing I will also say is, like, growing up, I drank coffee. Not all the time. I would have regular coffee, maybe a little cream, and then eventually I got to the point where it's like, I would just drink it straight black. But I wouldn't drink it like every meal. My mom would ask me when I had breakfast and all that, do you want coffee? And some of those mornings, you know, you wake up super early for school, and I'm not a morning person. I'm okay with that. But yeah, but I wasn't drinking coffee like every day.
And she referred to this child
And that was
as a baby. And you know,
with, like,
some
no
parents
sugar.
their kids are always going to be their babies. I made it for
Or maybe
her,
a
she
sugar.
goes over and gives it to her actual baby. An actual baby.
Where's they find that? You gave him your piece of shit. Starbucks board watching this excited. It looks different, bro. I mean, I've been working out and stuff.
These refreshers have caffeine in them. Your baby doesn't need caffeine. Stop it. Sugar and caffeine.
Introduce kids to raspberry syrup, not the candy syrup. 2 teaspoons per cup of water. Perfectly healthy and gives the water a tinge of mild raspberry. Did not know that was a thing. I also used to, if you get pure 100% cranberry juice, you can get it at like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. Maybe regular grocery stores have it too. Pour a little bit of that in just water. Perfectly good drink too.
Addictions are real and they're very harmful. And Starbucks.
Our diabetic toothless generation will be great parents.
The situation. That's where things are at right now.
Oh my god, that just like unlocked a memory right now. So the remember the roommate from hell that I told you all about? Like, this was like, we're talking 2-3 years ago. The one that like effed up my floors, basically was abusing his dog and all that shit, and I made him give the dog away. That one. Anyway, he also not only like would not shower to the point that I would have to yell at him to, dude, go take a shower. I can smell you. But he also didn't brush his teeth. And his reasoning was, it hurts my teeth when I brush them. And I had to look at him and be like, dude, it hurts because your gums are inflamed. Of course they're gonna hurt. You have to, get that inflammation down. Do you know how bad you have to be at not brushing your teeth to get to that point? Like, I found out, for example, when I was brushing my teeth, I wasn't doing it at the right angle to get all the crevices and everything. And I remember when I was taught to, angle it like a 45-degree angle. I could feel that a lot more. And I was bleeding in my gums for, the few days that I was doing that. This was, a few years ago. So, yeah. Not a thing, it's a Mediterranean staple. Swap water with sparkling water to make Italian soda. Makes sense. I mean, I have a soda stream. I love my soda stream.
So let's take a look at what these kids are drinking.
Morgan Freeman voice, I can smell you. Dude was an Arch user. Yeah, except he wasn't that bright. Arch users at least have brains. This guy was dumb as a sack of rocks.
Let's look at a frap. A grande mocha cookie crumble frappuccino contains 480
Good God, that's a quarter of your calories you're supposed to have in a day.
5 milligrams.
Holy shit, that's a lot of caffeine and sugars in general.
Liquid sugar later.
Look how many carbs are in that.
That's a lot of sugar. It's about 1.5 cans of Coke or 12 Oreos. And for context, the American Heart Association suggests no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day for a full-grown man. Plus that caffeine.
Damn.
That's about the same amount you would find in a full cup.
95 milligrams of caffeine.
Of Red Bull. So these drinks are super sugary, super caffeinated, and then not much else going on. So if they displace a
No, you do not need that drink. Just get regular coffee.
80 calories, they're not really getting much to help them grow. Now, I should say that there are uncaffeinated options.
You need the shakes? We can give you Parkinson's. We can give you the Michael J. Fox treatment. Give you the summer of shakes. Was that a dark joke? Yes, but I am sticking to it.
Vanilla cream one and the strawberry one, and I saw a lot of kids with these, but regardless of this,
you drink 200 milligrams or more of caffeine, that's not good for you.
Full on addicted to Starbucks or Frappuccinos or whatever is completely unhinged. But now that we've acknowledged the parent situation, it's finally time to discuss Starbucks, because as you'll see, they're not innocent. I'm
a full-grown adult and need only 1,800 calories a day unless I work out. Abby, I have met you in person. You are a twig. I am gonna force feed you at DEF CON. Because I'm Jewish, and we, feed everybody.
They do not market to anyone under 18. Now, Starbucks didn't start off targeting kids, almost the exact opposite. When Howard Schultz bought Starbucks in 1987, he had one goal: bring classy Italian cafe culture to the USA. He talked about it being a place where adults could sit, listen to jazz music, talk about philosophy over a great cup of coffee. And at the beginning, he was so serious about this pure coffee culture that he didn't even want to offer cream.
I have just under 100 milligram of caffeine on work days.
More and more families.
I'll have a cup of coffee in the morning at work, maybe at home sometimes, give or take. And then at most, I may have another pick-me-up in the afternoon with a V8 energy drink, which is another cup of coffee equivalent. I think that's 80 milligrams.
Company did what any good company would.
Caffeine can't do anything to me. I drank coffee every day when I was in middle school, then some of high school. You gotta go on a caffeine detox. I had to do that too. And then it lowers your tolerance, so then you can actually ingest caffeine and have it affect you. Because I was the same way that I needed several cups of coffee to be able to have any effects. Now I can have one cup of coffee and I'm bright-eyed.
They started catering to them, selling
you had Starbucks first time 1999
boxes. At first, they just wanted to make families feel welcome, but in 2002 they added something new to their menu: coffeeless frappuccinos, available in vanilla, coconut, and chai. Quote, the lineup wasn't just a caffeine-free option for afternoons and evenings. It also provided parents the opportunity to share the frappuccino experience with their kids and teens.
Really?
And to quote the article again, it also allowed Starbucks to market to young young people for whom caffeinated products may not be viewed as appropriate.
Yeah, the same way. And then I gave up soda and my sensitivity came back. Yeah, same thing. I dropped sugar and now I can taste sugar. You know what I mean?
Starbucks had launched a teddy bear shaped sippy cup.
Why'd they recall them?
The cup is shaped like a bear and has the words Barista Bear printed on the front. The cup has a screw-on lid in the shape of a bear's head, from which a soft, flexible straw protrudes.
Okay.
This is basically the exact same cup that people were going insane for a few months ago. Starbucks
Really?
already made a version for babies back in the 2000s.
Oh,
At this
jeez.
point, Starbucks is still claiming that they're not marketing to kids, but things are starting to get a little bit murky. And more children started to come in. First, just these kids with their parents, and then teens and tweens who wanted to be cool by drinking coffee that they didn't really need yet. Plus, if you check the media of the early 2000s, shows like Friends, where everyone hangs out in the local coffee shop, were huge.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a Starbucks.
Lorelai and teen Rory have coffee addictions, and celebrity teen icons like Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton were frequently photographed with their own Starbucks addictions.
Okay.
So with very little Starbucks intervention at this point, kids were just kind of naturally into Starbucks, even from the very beginning. But in 2007, Starbucks decided to really lean into it. And in an interview with NBC News, they publicly admitted that they were going to begin marketing to children. Starbucks' rethink stance on young customers. For years, Starbucks has insisted that it does not market to children, even as stroller traffic jams build outside some stores and teenagers pack up.
Also, going to a genuine coffee shop is a deliberate move. It's not like you pull up and move on in 30 seconds. I actually prefer genuine coffee shops because here's the thing. Starbucks coffee tastes like ass. It does. It is the shittiest coffee. I only go to Starbucks because I was meeting my financial planner. And we needed a place that I was like, hey, you know where Starbucks is in this town? Cool, let's just meet there. Because it was easier than figuring out like a specific spot we could just hang out or that. And I was just like, look, we're going to be meeting for like 20, 30 minutes. Cool. Anyway, if given the choice, I will prefer a local coffee shop. Because Starbucks coffee is intentionally burnt so they can have uniform flavor that's consistent across all their shops. So they roast it too much. That's why, if you get your own cup of coffee, when you make it yourself, you fresh grind the beans, it's almost always better. Make coffee at home. And I'll also say this. White Castle surprisingly has good coffee. If you've never had the coffee at White Castle, if you're near and you need coffee, try it. Your small town has too many coffee shops within a 5-block radius. You can find 12 different roasts. Jeez. McDonald's also has good coffee. That's true too.
Kids.
Problem is, you'll just never catch me really going to a McDonald's willingly unless I get my random craving for a hash brown. That's my weakness. Hash browns. I roasted my own beans to the latest possible roast, and it still tasted burnt. Well, then you should go apply it for Starbucks, because you got that natural burnt skill.
Acknowledging that the under 18
Even Dunkin' Donuts is trash. Oh, I totally agree.
Now, they didn't leave any good specific quotes or anything, because you know these companies like to be a little bit...
I don't order any burnt flavor, because it has to taste...
Finally recognizing that people under 18 came into their stores, and that they should start catering to them in a way that made them feel welcome. And thus they were going to embrace working on drinks and products specifically meant to appeal to young people. And in the years after this moment, we have seen the invention of products that have become honestly iconic with...
Yeah, see? Starbucks coffee often tastes burnt due to a deliberate dark roasting process designed for flavor consistency across locations. Yep.
Children, such as the Cake Pop, their refreshers line of caffeinated juice-like drinks, the pink drink, of course, and many colorful Frappuccino drops.
The only place that sells calf coffee is Dunkin' Donuts.
Become more and more of a...
McDonald's, at least in Canada, brought up all the Canada's beans when Timmy's decided to be bought out by another company. Really?
The
What's up, Jay?
Frappuccino.
Oh god, I remember this stupid trend.
Selling a unicorn frappuccino. It's kind of pretty too.
It's called the Unicorn Frappuccino. Do you want one? Unicorn? You bet I want it!
Guys, are you excited?
This frap was
You know, I didn't put two and two together because I don't have kids, but I was wondering who's ordering that drink. Yeah, that totally clicks. That was intentionally marketed to kids because look at these bright colors with it. And that's probably a really sugary drink. I'm going to judge parents that take their kids to Starbucks.
with pink powder, mango syrup, and sour blue drizzle, plus whipped cream and colorful sprinkles.
It's a mix of ice.
It was me when I was in college.
Vanilla syrup, mango syrup, pink powder, sour blue powder, and something called blue drizzle blended together.
What the hell? Blue drizzle?
With pink and blue sugar.
500 calories, 76
What
grams
the?
of sugar for a 24
Did I just hear that right?
Sugar.
500 calories, 76 grams of sugar for a 24-ounce drink.
76 grams of sugar for a 24 ounce. So let's see. Tall is 12 ounce, grande is 16, so half that, 76, you would then have 38 grams of sugar. That's still a lot. Like, you're officially now in the territory, there's more sugar in that than a can of Coke.
The plan was to launch it for just 5 days, but many
Kids are obsessed with Starbucks and parents encourage them instead of parenting. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It's a sugar coma. Tell me about it.
7 hours long. Now the unicorn
This is the reason why we have so many problems with diabetes in this country. We keep shoving sugar down our throats.
frap being pink and blue and fun colors obviously appealed heavily to young children who are the primary demographic for unicorn related stuff, but it was actually also part of this broader Instagram trend in 2016-2017. There was actually this whole unicorn aesthetic like this. Man, I completely forgot about this aesthetic right here. It's so weird.
I was not on Instagram during this time.
So popular. And again,
Thank God I wasn't.
Here. Was Starbucks intentionally luring children, or were they just doing smart marketing and kids came along for the ride? It's hard to say, right? I mean, it wasn't explicitly just for kids, but it certainly resonated with them.
Little bit of column A, little bit of column B.
Deniability going on here. And
Pepsi is 44 gram per 375 milliliter. Damn, that's still a lot.
quote, several former senior executives who spoke on condition of anonymity.
I stopped doing that, thankfully. My teenager is now into boba.
Didn't design products specifically for kids.
That's the tapioca ball one, right? That ain't too bad.
AKA, they did specifically.
As long as you're not overloading with sugar.
They're not going to say that out loud. And though they won't admit it anymore, evidence of them doing this is everywhere. Starting with a report by the
375 milliliters, cup and a half.
The report
Oof.
found that Starbucks and others were marketing unhealthy products directly to young people. Their paper found that teens were seeing ads for Starbucks.
He specifically does 50% sweet, as do I. Fair enough.
Even though teens were actually watching less television. In other words, the researchers believed that Starbucks was intentionally advertising where specifically young people would see it. When asked for comment though, Starbucks claimed that the report was inaccurate. But regardless of what they claimed, Starbucks would become even more aggressive at marketing toward children in the coming years. Back to school gift cards, notebooks, backpacks, and pencils. And very recently they opened
If you have a Starbucks backpack, expect me to give you the stink eye.
in Starbucks stores in Roblox, aka one of the most popular
And people wonder I have 3 levels of ad blockers. Same.
online games with children in the world.
Hold up!
Meet us online.
I was just about to say, if they were going to intentionally target kids, where's the Roblox? Holy shit! That is definitely intentionally targeting kids. That's not cool.
Exclusive in-store prizes waiting to be found. Chat with our baristas and order coffee faves. Outdoor seating, can't go wrong with a terrace for friend catch-ups. Limited time wearables up for grabs. Around 42% of the hundreds of millions of users of this game are under the age of 13, and the majority of the players are under 16. So the kids can interact directly with Starbucks and its products in this game. And the problem with this is they have set up shop in a kid's play space. You know what I mean? Like, this is the digital version of showing up at a playground. You know what I mean?
You've not seen that in Roblox? Well, I don't play Roblox, so I have no idea.
With Starbucks or McDonald's, say, opening up a pop-up at a kid's splash pad or a kindergarten classroom. Yet that's what this kind of thing is. It's super creepy. Next, Starbucks has also partnered with Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, and now Mr. Beast.
I am standing on $5 million of real cash.
In January 2026, Starbucks was a main sponsor for Mr. Beast's Beast Games, a TV show that aired on Amazon Prime.
I still haven't seen this and have no intention of seeing it.
Where people could get drinks, and they launched a limited edition
Oh, jeez.
themed drink related to the game.
We even built a Starbucks. What do you think?
The only Starbucks in the world serving free coffee 24/7.
We're at the Beast City Starbucks out here.
Again, Mr. Beast's primary audience, young kids. So yeah, regardless of what Starbucks wants to claim, they clearly do enjoy marketing to children, and they are incredibly good at it. Because while places like McDonald's
F Mr. Beast.
for
I don't hear a lot of great things about the dude.
children to their stores,
He's not my cup of tea, but
basically slips by.
there's been a lot of bad news around that dude for the past few years.
More locations than McDonald's, and is more popular with children than playgrounds at this point. Look at this.
What?
Gotten so good at getting kids to hang out that schools are copying it. Cafeterias are technically non-profits, but because they often receive relatively few government dollars, they need to sell enough food to cover costs and upgrades. This has turned Starbucks as well as other fast food purveyors into huge competitors, says Shannon Gleave,
Jeez.
of the Nutrition Association. To keep kids on the premises and buying school lunches, cafeterias aren't just imitating Starbucks food and drinks, always in compliance with federal nutrition standards, of course. They're turning spaces into mini Starbucks replicas.
That's not good. That's just a further example of how
Other places are now like, damn.
the health and schools are just really bad.
Does this whole thing even matter? Is there an impact?
Never watched Mr. Beast. Had no reason to do so.
Is 140 calories.
Neither have I.
Okay, not bad, with 25 grams of sugar and 45 to 55 milligrams of caffeine. Now that is way better than the frappuccinos we talked about, but it's still suffering from the two
We just looked at this earlier.
liquid sugar and caffeine. Let's start with the caffeine. Now, caffeine in children just sounds like an obviously terrible combination. All I can picture is kids like bouncing off the walls and having meltdowns, etc., etc. And
I'd rather hang out with my hacker family anyway. Fair enough. I'd rather hang out with my DEF CON crew too.
To be terrible. But when I went and I looked into it, it was not as black and white as I thought it would be. And this meta-analysis of over 5,000 papers says that we don't actually know what the true impact of caffeine is on children and teenagers. Some kids seem to be really sensitive to caffeine and others not so much. But regardless, the American
I generally hold the opinion that you shouldn't be giving kids caffeine until at least their teenage years. But I also have, like, held the opinion of, like, though I'm not anti-cannabis, for example, I've held the opinion that maybe they shouldn't do that until they're older and their brains have formed more, too. There's just a lot of development going on with a child early on that you don't want to F up their mental growth.
Academy of Pediatrics recommends that all
3 times. I don't even buy his trash. I see candy bars, drinks, I think, and now beef jerky,
For
cheese.
teenagers, however, they've stated that it's probably okay for them to have caffeine sometimes. So caffeine, a little.
Let your brain
surprising,
finish
right?
cooking first.
And the
Damn
results
right.
of this are not murky.
Let your brain finish cooking before you get, before you go cooking yourself.
At all. Sugar, particularly liquid sugar, is bad for kids.
No, wait, let me try that again. Let your brain finish cooking before you go and get baked. That's what I was looking for.
And teenagers on so many different levels. But here's a quick infographic.
Noman said bank suffers a data breach is the day I'll be laughing my ass off. It's like me and my last job.
Are associated with higher obesity risk, higher risk of type 2 diabetes, more tooth decay, metabolic syndrome, increased risk of heart disease and fatty liver disease, and activation of brain pathways linked to sugar addiction. I did a whole other video where I really went into the unique risk associated with sugar sweetened beverages. I'll link it here if you want to see. But it honestly blew my mind at the time. I mean, I look at all this health stuff all the time, and even for me, I was like shocked to see just how bad these drinks could possibly be. The science I learned was insane, and when it comes to kids, it's even more serious of an issue. So yeah, it is a problem that kids are obsessed with Starbucks and being proud of being addicted to Starbucks from a young age. If Coca-Cola or McDonald's had the same kind of appeal, it would already be a major scandal. But for some reason, the Starbucks situation has just been slipping by unnoticed. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Cool. All right. That's kind of disgusting that Starbucks is doing that. I'm curious how long this video is, depending on how long it is. Okay, we'll save this video for tomorrow. Dial 1 for Wi-Fi from Jeff Geerling. I know I came in a little late, and I also was chatting on stream for about an hour, you know, the usual stuff that I do. But, yeah. Just making a note for myself where to resume. But, yeah. At least we got one video knocked down. I'll probably try to be back on stream tomorrow and maybe Friday. We got a lot of content we still got to work through. I still am like close to 2 weeks back on content. Backlogged. We may have to skip through some things, but yeah. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for joining me. It's getting a little late. I do have to go to the office tomorrow. But thank you all for joining me. Make sure, if you haven't already, to follow me on all of my socials. The links are in the bio if you don't have them. And make sure to join the Discord and the Matrix server. I'm on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord, Matrix, other places. Check my GitHub too, because a lot of you probably are into that. And I'll try to be back on tomorrow, but officially the next stream is Sunday for sure. And Sundays are our gaming on Linux streams. So I'm going to try to stream tomorrow and the day after in the evening, catch up on some of this content. I'll try to be on earlier. Today I just had some business stuff before I started. So thank you all for joining. Love you all. Stay safe. Happy hacking. Stick around for the raid if you're on Twitch. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Worst case, Sunday. I got the hiccups for some reason. All right. See ya.